Okay, good evening, Ms. Fong. Welcome to the committee. You may proceed. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to state the obvious from the beginning for everyone who knows. I represent District 15, which is one of the districts in question here. I wanted to testify. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to, but I wanted to clarify some points that have come around. And I want to say, especially to Senator Metz, I appreciate all the hard work that you put into this over the years. And I'm glad that this hearing is taking place and that we can all have talk. That's the whole point of democracy, right? That we can all kind of see the different points. I think when we're talking about disproportionate representation, we're saying things are a little bit out of whack in different districts. If you look in Providence itself, I use 2019 numbers because 2020 numbers were a little off because of COVID. In 2019, there were 34,124 college students in Providence. Okay? Now, let's be very generous and say half of them registered here to vote. If you take out 17,000, that's an entire rep district. Okay, so one could make the obvious case there that given those numbers, what we used in 19, again, pre-COVID, could actually sway massive amounts of representation throughout the state. Actually, RISD itself, that one college, has more kids in question, and I say kids, I apologize, young adults, who attend that college than the entire state complex. Many parts of my district, I want to be very clear, District 15 only has about 1/3 of the state complex. David Bennett's district, and I apologize, I forgot the number, has the other 2/3. And so when you're looking at that, my district, even though I have that tiny proportion, and people want to say that my district is skewing everyone else, I still had more votes in my district in 2020 when I beat the speaker, okay, than District 1, District 2, District 3, or District 4 on the east side. The entire east side, my district had more voters come out and vote than any of those other districts. So you're taking a look at where things shift. You can also see that even though I have a little bit of a warp, there's still the voter engagement in this section. Take a look at Newport and Middletown. It's actually my hometown where I'm from. Right now, as of June 2021, the Department of Defense website shows that there's about 486 active officers and 685 elected enlisted personnel. So you have about another 1,000 down there, okay? When we're looking at military, those aren't small numbers either, okay? That, again, doesn't even include the 1,000 reservists that often are down in Newport. So when you're taking a look at different populations, Senator De La Cruz brought it up before about Zambrano, when we're talking about the colleges, when we're talking about military, these are real numbers, these aren't small numbers. A couple points that have been brought up, and I want to just clarify the impact to Cranston. When somebody from Woonsocket needs a rescue, we don't call Woonsocket to come down and rescue them, okay? Now, for Cranston, what does that mean? On average, that has meant over the last 8 years, I apologize, I want to just circle on this point, that's an average of 200 runs, okay, that our fire department has had to go for. Our Cranston police, our backup to the Rhode Island State Police, they have to average about 100 calls to this complex per year. That is a lot. That in the sewer system, that is a disproportionate burden on the Cranston taxpayers, and I want that to be very clear in tonight's session. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Co-Chair. I just want to I want to make a comment. I love the city of Cranston. I don't have any issue. I love to go to a restaurant. But there is a comment that you made that part of you last election you have a lot of vote is probably another reason is probably because was too much stimulation in that election, specifically money investment, candidates, and so many other things. So we cannot attribute that only to this. It's also those things happen when we have so many candidates or the resources that candidates investing in the election. Just for clarification.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman Diaz. I want to be very clear on that too. This was the 2020 election that was an anti-Trump wave, which in Biden plus 89 districts on the east side, you would think there would be enormous turnout on the east side, and that includes both mail ballot, in person, and whatnot. I'm just not including that day. I want to make that very clear. So actually, you would probably assume that the east side would come out even higher if you're in these heavily Democratic districts in an anti-Trump wave. But it wasn't close. It wasn't 100 people difference. It was thousands in every single one of those districts. So the college disproportionate representation kind of plays out in what we saw in the 2020 election, which again was a huge Democratic wave.
Thank you. Are there any other questions by any other members of the committee? No? Thank you very much. Mr.
Thank you.
Vincent?